Good morning, guys. Thank you for joining us. If you have not gotten coffee, now's a good time. Now's a good time. Okay, can you hear me okay? If you have not had an opportunity to take a look at the agenda, you will find one in your bag. You'll find one in your bag. We're gonna get started. I see there's some people still moving in. Can you guys hear me? Is that better? Okay, awesome. Yes. That's a great question. And so someone was just asking about the link to live stream. You should have received a link to the agenda on the faculty service page. At the very bottom of that page is a link to the live stream. So if you have faculty who are not here, take out your phones, send them a quick message, let them know we are live. Well, you're seeing my face because our esteemed Dean of Career and Technical Instruction, Dr. Melanie Bach, could not be here. But she sent me with words. And if you've had the occasion to hear her speak before, you know, she's really very fun, really very lively. And so I ask your forgiveness now. In her voice, hello, faculty. Welcome to Fall 2023 and welcome to Preservice. A big day awaits us, a day focusing on student engagement, a day of information, a day of inspiration, a day of, dare I say, change. This day includes an icon of the seas, mega ship-sized boatload of updates, all about CTC, our ISD partners, House Bill 8 and its effects, and at the heart of it all, our speaker, Ms. Flower Darby, will engage us in engaging students. It's going to be a fine day. This fine day is made possible by an amazing, talented group of people, the Preservice Faculty Committee. It literally takes 6 months to plan and coordinate pre-service and in-service events. Imagine how many dreams of hot dogs that must include. I will tell you who these fabulous people are, then let's give them a round of applause. Associate Dean Veronica Martin, Associate Dean Matt Lyles, Dr. Catherine Oser, Dr. Melissa Gonzalez, Ms. Sharon Collins, and Ms. Maritza Rojas. And because she had the nerve to say yes to one minor task, now Professor Tracy Martin. Thank you for spending the past 6 months working to make this day possible. Let's give them a round of applause. It's wonderful to see you all gathered here. If If the students are the heart of CTC, the faculty is the soul. Because you're soulful, I wrote you a poem. Well, not exactly. ChatGPT wrote you a poem. In flip-flops and shades, you were off on a spree, escaping the campus, and now you're back. Yippee! No more endless sunshine and beaches so grand. Now it's time to grade papers with pen in hand. You've swapped out your sunscreen for lesson plans galore. And those tan lines you earned, well, they'll fade for sure. From sipping cool drinks by the waves on the shore to sipping cold coffee and meetings once more. But fear not, dear faculty, you're quite the crew with knowledge and wit that's always shine through. So we welcome you back with laughter-filled tones as you trade in your sandals for lecture hall's throne. Yeah, ChatGPT will not be our poet laureate, but I'm still happy to see you. To kick off our day in style, it is my honor to introduce our first speaker, Chancellor Jim Yiannopoulos. Before I do that, however, let me take you back 50 years. In 1973, the purchasing power of the dollar surpassed its value today. Back then, a gallon of gas was a mere 40 cents. A first-class stamp was only 8 cents. A gallon of milk was still expensive, $1.40. And a dozen eggs were 69 cents. The average family income was slightly over $12,000. The average home price was $32,500. And a new car cost around $3,200. The cost of a college education reflected a different era as well. Annual tuition at the average public two-year college was $355. Given tuition, fees, and housing, the cost to attend Central Texas College and earn an associate's degree was under $3,000. Certainly, times have changed tremendously. And Mr. Jim Yiannopoulos has been a part of all of it. Mr. Yiannopoulos started his career at Central Texas College as a counselor in student services and has since held numerous positions, including dean, assistant deputy chancellor, and in 2015, he was appointed chancellor. After 50 years of service to the college and community, he will retire effective August 31st. Please help me welcome Mr. Jim Yiannopoulos to his last pre-service.
Background. Well, anyway, it's a great day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Back to school. This week we start classes on Friday, and then all of the classes start again on Monday. But I want to thank you for getting back here and being excited about getting back into class. I see on your schedule today you have a lot of things that are going to happen, and so I'm not going to take up much time, but I wanted to share with you just a few minutes on trying to figure out how we have two chancellors at the same time. I know some of you probably have that question in mind. So Dr. Carter was appointed chancellor on July the 1st, and so for the month of July, she and I shared kind of the office space, if you will. Most of the things that were needing approval, I did. Some things I felt were going to impact her and impact you going forward, I passed it to her to make for her and her cabinet to make a decision on what should do, what should be done. And then in August, on August the 1st, she began taking over all the responsibilities. I kind of passed them off to her, and I sat in as an advisor when I could. And anyway, so she's done a great job so far, and I know she'll continue to do that. I can tell you that the transition went was very positive, well orchestrated transition, very transparent, and so you probably won't see any glitches along the way. I think things have really smoothed out. I've taken the opportunity today to all of you major contacts and have asked all the boards and all the commissions and all of the committees and the councils that I belong to. I have asked them to accept Dr. Carter in those roles, and they have graciously, and they've reached out to her. So far things are moving in the right direction. I know that Dr. Carter is on the agenda for today to deliver you a faculty address at the end of today, and I know you want to hear everything she has to say, and I think it will be well taken. Again, thank each and every one of you for all the support you've provided to me and to the college for the last 50 years. Some of you haven't been here 50 years, but some of you have. So anyway, thank you again for all of that. Thank you again for supporting me and supporting this administration. And have a great day.
Good morning. Not 50 years at CTC, but 25. So let's count this. So good morning. I'm Tina Ady. I'm your Vice Chancellor, so not Deputy, but Vice Chancellor of Instruction and Workforce Initiatives. And I'm excited to spend a little bit of time with you this morning, giving you some updates on where we are. There's one topic I will address, and you will hear this multiple times, and that's about House Bill 8. So I will just speak about one portion of it, and Mr. Armstrong has a portion, and then Rudy Sandoval at the end of the day as well. So some things you may hear again, but trust me, you will have to hear it multiple times. So this morning, the portion I want to address of House Bill 8 is the financial aid for swift transfer. Financial aid for swift transfer. So we're calling it FAST. Well, not we, but we will be calling it FAST too. This is part of the House Bill 8, and it will address dual credit students. So our Board of Trustees voted in July for CTC to be part of SWIFT. The SWIFT program allows educationally disadvantaged students to enroll in dual credit courses at no cost to them. So educationally disadvantaged students are students that are defined as students on free and reduced lunch, but not only for this year, but also for the past 4 years. So student was on free and reduced lunch over the past 4 years. They are considered educationally disadvantaged, and this is the first group we will talk about. There are several items we don't know yet. We will find out on 22 August or after 22 August when there's a special board meeting held by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, and so we're looking forward to getting more information. Let's see. So these educationally disadvantaged students again will not be charged tuition. We will receive funding, but the students will not be charged tuition that are in this category. So in addition to not charging tuition, we also cannot charge for books or course materials. So a bit of a challenge there, but we have ideas. We have ideas on how we handle this. So there is another group of students that are not economically disadvantaged. So this group, we can charge tuition, but the rate cannot be higher than what the payment we get for these economically disadvantaged students. We don't know for sure, but at this point, we think that this tuition rate will be $55 per credit hour. But again, we will have to verify. So what does that mean to us. So as you know, we have a large number of students coming from Colleen and Coppers Cove, taking courses here with us on our campus, in the schools, online, any different ways. And so for the students that we already have, where we can only charge just about half of the tuition, or receive half of the tuition, it will certainly be a loss in revenue. But we also serve our service area, our 12 county service area, and so we do believe that it's an opportunity for those schools. So Dr. DeLeon and I have contacted all the superintendents, and so we have given them information on House Bill 8 as we understand it at this point. And we are also working on arranging meetings with Dr. Carter, so she can have virtual meetings with them and explain what House Bill 8 means and really what an opportunity it is for them. So over time, our enrollments in the service area for dual credit have inclined. We've had other schools that come and really they underbid us. That's kind of how that went. They charge less tuition than we did. So we do think coming back with a $55 tuition rate could be a game changer for us in the service area community. So what can you do as faculty? So earlier I mentioned for these free and reduced lunch students over the past 4 years, we cannot charge them tuition, we cannot charge for books or costs associated with a class. So the topics of OERs and free resources, using those in your classes in lieu of books is resurfacing. So this is something that I think Dr. Bach will be addressing with you. The need and urgency is greater than ever before. Dual credit students who complete a sequence of 15 semester hours in dual credit, we will receive funding for. We are, again, waiting to hear definite amounts of what that will be, but there will be a reward when these dual credit students complete 15 semester hours. So once we know which pathways this applies to, which course sequence this applies to, we will of course share with you. And potentially this would mean to you to take a look back at your degree plans and see if any changes are warranted for that. But again, we don't have this information yet, and we expect to have a lot more after the 22nd. Let's see. There's also funding provided for credentials of value for credit and non-credit programs. So this is a big first for non-credit programs. So what can you do? Look at if you're working in career technical programs, please take a look at your degrees that you have and see where certifications can be embedded in that. Again, this is a monetarily connected with us receiving payment and funding for that. So please see, how can we embed certifications? In many of our programs, we prepare students for certification or licensure. We do that, but then students move on and maybe complete it or maybe not. In other programs, it's already included. So please see how you can make that happen, what it takes for that to happen, and potentially we can request differential tuition. So this is a good conversation for you to have with your dean. Also, please explore with our partners in continuing education pathways from non-credit to credit. We don't want this to be the end when a student completes a non-credit program, whether it's in health or in business or whatever it may be. We want this to be the pathway into your programs, into the college programs, so students continue that and see that as a natural path. Let's see, also, we will receive funding for students that are transferring with at least 15 semester hours to in-state 4-year universities. So please keep our partnerships in mind with the universities, especially the one 8 miles down the road. I talked to Dr. Bach, and we're looking into having something organized for this fall where the department chairs meet again. And so be on the lookout for that. I know there are a lot of other topics that are important, but House Bill 8 has changed quite a bit. So really how we're funded and how that impacts instruction, what we need to do. So a lot more about that. With that said, lots of changes, but I think it'll be another great school year. So thank you very much.
Good morning. Y'all hear me okay? I'm Robin Garrett, Vice Chancellor of Academic and Student Success. I get the thrilling, it was requested that I get to give you an update on our reaffirmation and on our new mission, vision, strategic plan. Okay, so it's really exciting. Anyway, okay, next, go ahead. Thank you. So last year, or really earlier this year, I guess, we worked on our mission statement. And there are some slight changes. It aligns with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board's Talent Strong Texas Initiative, as well as the House Bill 8 outcomes, which is all performance-based now. Very little on the contact hour funding, and you'll hear much more about that from Mr. Harmson and Mr. Sandoval later. But our mission aligns with this initiative for the House Bill 8 as well as the Talent Strong Texas. And you can see it on the screen there. Oh, no, are we there yet? Okay, sorry. Central Texas College provides, you can see it here, accessible, equitable, and quality educational opportunities that promote student success, completion, and employability. The completion and employability especially relates to the two initiatives I mentioned. Central Texas College's vision has been updated. It's to be a leader in providing innovative academic, technical, continuing, and adult education to our diverse worldwide community to meet student and workforce needs. Again, in alignment with House Bill 8 and the Talent Strong Texas. And the funding of House Bill 8, definitely. Our values, mostly they remain the same. We added one value. Inclusive learning and work environments was added to the values of Central Texas College. The strategic priorities, yes. We still have 5 priorities, and some of them changed a little, some didn't. Under the first one, enhanced student success, that was an original priority. We added promote effective communication strategies to enhance student engagement and success. That was added. Second priority, really changed quite a bit. Foster growth and improvement of instructional programs, technology, and learning environments. The original one was modified, and we reduced the goals to 2, and they changed slightly, the goals underneath it. Strategic priority 3, continuous assessment and improvement of operations and services. That remained the same, but we reduced it again to 2 goals. They were slightly modified, and it was actually reduced by 1 to take out the barriers goal that was directed by our Board of Trustees. Strategic priority 4, it was reworked a little bit, modernize, improve, and expand infrastructure facilities, and the goals were enhanced by that team. Priority 5, it's essentially the same, and the goals remain unchanged. I'm sorry, are you keeping up with me? Yes. Good deal. All right. Okay, go to the next one. These 55 people helped steer CTC into the future with our new mission, vision, values, and strategic plan. Please refer to the strategic plan and all of the information that I'm presenting to you on the About Us link from our website. You'll see our new plan, our new goals, new mission, and all of that. And I have a present for you. When you go to your break, you get a new bag with our new mission statement on it. So please pick one up at the doors. Compliments of our marketing department. Okay. Okay, next one, on to the reaffirmation. By the way, those 55 amazing people, they worked hard. they were broken into groups that worked on the mission, the vision, and the strategic priority. They met outside of our meetings, and then they sought input from other people. So it was a lot of work to look at this and make sure that CTC was moving in the right direction for the future. Okay, our reaffirmation. Many of you know, and some of you don't, but in 2025, we will be reaffirmed under the SACS COC principles to continue our accreditation, offer credits, do all the things that we do, and transfer credits. We are under the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. So when you hear someone say SACS or SACS COC, that's what that means. So this is a 2-year-long process to become reaffirmed. We met with our vice president with an initial leadership team in December of 2022. That kicked it off. We got our direction of what we should do. Kind of knew what to do, but gave us a little more information. Our compliance certification is due March 1st of this year. No, next year, 2024. March 1st, yeah, we passed March 1st, 2024. I'd like to get that submitted by mid-February because it's not like it used to be where you either mail in a big packet or you send in jump drives. We have to upload it to the portal. Now, I'm a little concerned with all the links and all the things in this massive document working in this upload. So that's why I want to try to get it as early as possible so we can fix any issues we may have. In April, sometime between April 23rd and 26th, the committee will be finalizing the review of this document. We will then receive the feedback from that, where they will tell us if we're in compliance or not in compliance with any of the standards under the principles of accreditation. At that point, we have until about mid-August to turn in our focus report, where we will have to respond to the claims that we're not compliant. I don't doubt that we will have to do that. 95% of institutions that go through reaccreditation have to submit a focus report. So I'm already settled in my mind that we will have to do that, and that's not bad. This is our second attempt to prove that we are in compliance. So we're not getting dinged, but we want to do our best up front, so we have to go through that whole process again. So hopefully we won't, but I'm pretty sure we will have to submit that. Also, during the mid-August timeframe, we will have to submit our QEP, which I'll talk to you about, and we will have an off-site committee review that will be conducted for our service area. So August will be a very busy, busy month for reaccreditation. We'll take them to certain places out in our continental campus. Continental service area will be in October. The continental site visits. Then in October, these are the only dates that I have specific. October 7th through the 10th, the SACS committee will be here on campus, and we'll be taking them around the campus. We'll also be taking them out in our service area during that time frame to locations that they select. After that, hopefully we'll get the all clear that we were good. If they still find anything that we're out of compliance with, they will let us know, and we will submit that by March again, and then the Board of Trustees of SACS will review that. If they then deem us in compliance, will be great. If not, then we'll be put on monitoring or something like that. I don't think that'll happen, but that's the goal, to be totally clear when our on-site committee comes to visit and looks at all the things that we wrote in our purpose report. So that's the next year and a half of our lives right now. So these are the people that volunteered to take on the lead of each of the principles. Notice we start with section 2. Section 1 is integrity. We don't get to tell them whether we have integrity or not. They determine if we have integrity. So we write to section 2 through 14. All of these people, if you see an email from these people, please respond immediately. They need something from you. And they're diligently writing. Some people went ahead and got a committee form to break up their sections. Some are trying to tackle it on their own. But please, if you hear from them, please help them. Please help them. I want to give a shout out, obviously, to everybody, but especially to Dr. Cook. Where are you, Dr. Cook? She's back there. She has taken on Section 8, Student Achievement. This is the area where we got a little dinged during our 5th year, and she is working diligently to ensure that we do the best we can on our compliance submission for Section 8. This all has to do with program learning outcomes, which y'all have been working on diligently for the past few years, as well as student learning outcomes for our general education courses. So she's taken on a major section of this. So thank you very much, Dr. Cook. So, the whole compliance certification report is a story about us. So keep that in mind. It's a story about what we do, how we do it, and how great we are. And that's what it's about. But I don't know if any of you have had the opportunity, or some of you probably have, to meet Dr. Carrie Rose. Are you in here, Dr. Rose? There she is back there. She's the Dean of Institutional Effectiveness and Institutional Accountability and Curriculum Support. And she's like the main person, and we're working on this whole reaffirmation together. But she's fairly new to CTC. And she wrote a little story that I want to read to you, and hopefully I have time. But from her perspective, the story of the CTC reaffirmation. Once upon a time, amidst the vast and legendary state of Texas, there stood a remarkable community college named Central Texas College. Nestled in the heart of the state, this institution's reputation echoed far and wide for its academic prowess and commitment to excellence. At Central Texas College, a mystical tradition was upheld where every 10 years they embarked on an epic quest known as SAC-COC reaccreditation. This was no ordinary endeavor. It was a grand saga that demanded courage, wisdom, and most importantly, the power of the written word. They set forth on a daring journey through the realm of narratives, brimming with knowledge and insight. Each word they penned held the potential to shape the fate of the college. They believed in the magical art of storytelling, which we sometimes have to do, for they knew that a well-crafted narrative had the power to move the heart of even the most discerning readers. I have to say, she's been here a short time and she knows about the storytelling of CTC. As they toiled day and night, penning their accomplishments, dreams, and aspirations, the spirit of camaraderie enveloped Central Texas College. Every faculty and staff member lent their magical talents, contributing their part to the great epic. It was said that even the majestic eagle, a symbol of strength and wisdom, graced them with its presence, bestowing its keen insight upon their words, making them even more potent. As the moment of truth approached, the SAC-COC compliance report took shape, unparalleled in its brilliance and enchantment. With the mystical verification worksheet's blessings, the narratives were complete, ready to be sent forth to the mysterious SAC-COC. And so, the tale of Central Texas College and its SAC-COC certification spread throughout the land, inspiring other institutions to embark on their own magical quests. The legend of their narratives and the power of the written word resonated for generations to come, reminding all that in the state of Texas, within the walls of Central Texas College, magic happened when dreams were written and excellence was etched in ink. Should we include this in our compliance certification? I think that should be the cover sheet, right? Anyway, thank you, Dr. Rose. That was wonderful. The next one, real quick. I know I'm running out of time. The QEP, the Quality Enhancement Plan, it's a very important component of the SAC's reaffirmation, and that is really, it's not a story. This does not apply to this. This is a true research effort, and we have a big team working on this. There's literature reviews. It's a dissertation. That's at bottom line. It's a dissertation. It is a research experiment on our students, is what it is. And we have to do this for SACs. We had a call for proposals from from you faculty. You went ahead and turned things in. We've compiled a bunch of it. We've made it into a enhancement plan that we're working towards. Go ahead. The team that is on this, the leads for this are on your screen. So again, if you get a call from any of these people, please comply. They are all very instrumental in working this QEP. And drum roll, go ahead and hit it. This is our QEP topic. There you go. Oh, okay. Fostering connection and belonging through success coaching. Oh, that sounds really thrilling, doesn't it? But it is. It's exciting because the plan is to hire success coaches, not rely like we did on the previous QEP on you faculty stepping up and trying to be success coaches. The plan is to hire success coaches and also to include a online component where the success coaches are facilitators in an online class that provides the student with resources to help them through. And it's going to be first time in college students because we have an issue with our retention rate from fall to spring. We lose 41% of our students, and we want to change that. And that's what our QEP is all about. So thank you very much. Real quick, you'll see a little bit of change in our website coming up. We're in the process of updating the look and feel of it, but at the same time, we're having consultants review the website for new student use. So thank you very much. You'll be seeing lots of changes coming, and have a wonderful semester.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. My name is Mark Harmson. Most of you probably are familiar. I've been in the facilities and construction area. I've been fortunate to be able to step in Dr. Carter's role. Certainly have some big shoes to fill within finance administration. So this morning I wanted to talk about three basic things. One, the House Bill 8. Dr. A talked a little bit about it. Rudy Sandoval will be giving you more information a little bit this afternoon. If you have questions after this, I will tell you we don't have all the answers at the moment. We want to share with information that we do have. Talk briefly about some of the capital projects that we've got going on, and then I'll just end at the end with a quick budget update. So the funding model that the state has approved, it's called House Bill 8. It's moving from a legacy funding model to an outcomes dynamic funding model. So there are multiple components of it. So Dr. E talked about the FAST piece. You have shared services where community colleges are encouraged to go ahead and work together. You have the performance tier, which is really where the majority of all the funding is going to take place going forward, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. You have a base tier. That's really for colleges that are impacted or have a smaller tax base or a smaller population in their community. And then there is a standing committee that is also being established. So House Bill 8 really transforms the funding for all community colleges into a dynamic process. It aligns with the state's higher education strategic plan. So most of you are probably familiar with the 60 by 30 plan. This really tries to align with that. And it's based around the regional and state workforce needs. So what they did was the Texas Workforce Commission went out, they looked at what are the high demand areas throughout the state, as well as within each region, compiled that list together, and those were the areas that they're focusing in on. And then the funding is going to be reallocated each fiscal year. Does that help?
Yes.
Yes.
Are we there yet? No, that's all. Yes. Okay, so a term that you're going to be hearing quite a bit, I think, going forward are going to be high demand fields or credentials of value. They're going to be funded at a higher level than your standard fields. Again, it's based upon the Texas Workforce Commission and the occupations that they looked at across the state. Some of the criteria that they used, they looked at there's an entire formula for how they came about. I'm not going to go into it. Three of the highlights are they look at the basic median wage across the state of Texas. They also look at education and training that goes beyond high school, and then they look at where they think the projected growth within those fields are going to be going forward. Like I said, it becomes a little bit more complicated of a formula, but I've got a list here. We can certainly work to go ahead and make sure that you guys have this information. I've actually got 3 slides of these, so don't bother about trying to write them down. You can see just the general areas. A lot of them are around the health and allied health fields, engineering, IT, those basic areas. And a lot of you guys, I think, have seen where the state is moving over the course of the last couple of years. Anyway, if you have questions in regards to any of the high demand fields, please let us know. We're going to be working more closely with each of the departments to identify what licenses and certificates you offer in each of those areas in a minute, because I'm actually going to show that the financial piece of us offering certificates and licensures in each of those high demand areas. But the other thing that the state is also recognizing is they're taking into account 3 additional criteria that they're using for weights. The first one is economically disadvantaged, which is basically if a student is a Pell Grant recipient. Academically disadvantaged if students are not students who are not on the TS, they're not TSI ready. And the third one are going to be adult learners over the age of 25. So those are going to be weighted into the overall formula that they have going forward. So we want to certainly go ahead, as Dr. Garrett mentioned, whatever we can do to help students, especially if they're economically or academically disadvantaged, to be successful. That certainly benefits the college. So the funding, and this may be a little bit tough to see, but they've established rates, assuming that all this passes within the next couple of weeks. There are funding for each of the categories. So as Dr. Adia talked about, for a student who completes at least 15 scheduled hours, credit hours, there's a additional fee of $1,700. So you can see that there's going to be additional fees or rates for certifications, and then you can see that there's a incrementally higher rate that is provided to the community colleges for anybody who actually gets a licensure or certification in a high demand field. So you've got the whole list there. You've got the credentials, occupational skills awards, the various levels of certificates, advanced technical certificates, associates, and then even bachelor's degrees. So, one of the things, I think Dr. Ady mentioned this, is if you guys can go back and certainly we'll be encouraging each of you to go back and take a look at your areas and where we can continue to try to develop programs, certifications, licensures, if we don't already have it in each of your areas. Certainly it benefits not only our students, but the college as well. And then the other thing that was mentioned earlier is that the Texas Educational or the Higher Ed Coordinating Board is also recognizing non-credit. So they're really not making a distinction between non-credit certifications and licensures and credit. So we certainly have some wonderful opportunity within those areas moving forward as well. So more to come. Rudy is going to be talking a little bit more about House Bill 8. If you guys have questions, please let us know. Like I said, we don't have all the answers, but we want to go ahead and try to share what information we do have so that you guys are at least aware of what is happening and some of the changes that are taking place. Switching to capital projects. So we're trying to go ahead and implement a number of projects. One of them is we're making some improvements to the Morton Hall. Strangely enough, about a year or so ago, we had electronic locks in the dorm, but they were at the end of the day, at their end of their useful life. And it just so happened right before Thanksgiving that there was they called it a kill code, which basically deactivated all the locks. And so we had to scramble at the last minute to go ahead and try to get all of the students' actual physical keys. But we've got a project to go ahead and move them all to electronic locks, which will certainly make life a whole lot easier for the students as well as us, tracking when students come and go. Some other projects that we're currently working with our architect as well as our construction manager at risk. And you may see some of the activities going on right now. One is a new elevator in the enrollment center. They're currently working there. And then we're doing some additional documents, construction documents for work at the front porch of the library, the nursing center, looking at trying to relocate MLT and histology up there. The science center here, trying to do some improvements. If MLT and histology are able to go ahead and relocate out, we can turn those into a new chemistry and biology lab. And then over protective services, helping to split up one of the classrooms, the large classroom that they have, as well as make the outdoor building a little bit more functional for some of the classes that they offer. Going forward, we are, and this is a proposed capital projects. They're going to be included within the budget that actually goes at the workshop today, and then hopefully will be approved next Tuesday. But we have some additional campus locks. We're looking at trying to do some things with some office suites. We're also going to continue on with some of the existing work that we talked about as well. Like the elevator will continue. We've got some additional work, like I said, that we're working with the architects on. One of the next buildings that we're looking at trying to begin some design work for some improvements would be the Kate Center. That certainly, if any of you have been in it recently, I think you know that I think it's seen its better days. We've also got a significant project going on, ADA. You may have seen a lot of construction and sidewalk work around campus, not only on the outside, but the inside of the building. We are diligently working on that. We're supposed to try and conclude that in May of 24, and then we've got some facility condition assessment work that we're working on as well. The last thing, because I'm about to get the hook that I want to go ahead and mention, the current budget is currently submitted as a balanced budget. It's around $100 million, just over. But I do want to go ahead and let everybody know exactly where we're at least as of June the 30th of 2023, we were, I need my glasses, $6.9 million, and I actually think it actually has gotten a little bit worse, but we're actually in the red by $6.9 million so far this fiscal year. So I think, we certainly have some challenges going forward, but I think, and let me just mention two of the areas that have really impacted us. One are construction costs. If any of you have done any type of remodeling in your own home recently, you know the construction costs have really skyrocketed. And then we just recently found out that our insurance costs have almost tripled, going, for instance, on property. A number of carriers are actually pulling out of the state of Texas. So property insurance has gone from roughly $300,000 to well over $1 million. So there's substantial costs that the college is seeing. So whatever we can do this next fiscal year to continue to watch overall resources, I think we want to do. I apologize. I'm getting the hook. I got the red fan. So more than happy to answer any questions. I guess a little later I want to keep this on track. But anyway, hopefully that is helpful to everybody.
Good morning. Y'all not excited? Why? I am. I'm so excited. I'm so glad to be with some kids of mine. Party. School starts tomorrow. I'm so excited. School in here. I could be outside. I mean, they only gave me like 0 seconds. Y'all, 0 seconds to say what I gotta say. They gave me a list of things I gotta say. So y'all ready? You got your ears on? You got your listening ears? All right, real quick. Here we go. We got about 15 minutes for a break, I think. But before we do that, I want to let y'all know, please remember to silence your phones. Did y'all do that? Yeah. Okay. So we already did that. As I'm going to tell y'all every time, because I have to break and turn it back on. So make sure you do that. Then I want to thank a few people because without them today would not be possible. So we've already named all of your pre-service committee people. We give them another hand. Thank you, thank you. We also have special guests today. Our special guests are administrative assistants. We got to thank them. I got to say this because our administrative assistant, Karen Sapp, she's a savage. Thank you. Because we're a rally bunch of people. She keeps us in line. I also want to say thank you to our facility services, Great Western, IT. Thank you for everything that y'all are doing to make this day possible. And last but not least, you, the faculty of Central Texas College. Without you and your dedication, we wouldn't be where we are today. So we want to thank y'all too. Thank you for being here. So you need to be. So thank you. And the last thing I want to tell you is you will need to be present to win the prizes. So you got to stay all the way through to the end. Because if we call your number and you're not here, it goes to me. So it's just what it is. I will take all prizes. So if you want to leave, go ahead and leave. I will take a prize. We got good prizes at the end. Now let's take a break. Be back at 9 sharp. Oh, and don't forget to get your bags that Dr. Garrett was talking about. We've got people at the back, and we do have some bags up here if you want to come up here and get a bag. All right, it's about that time. It's time for us to get back. I have just a few things before our next session starts. Y'all gotta listen, Linda. Everybody listen. Okay, so there will be a virtual book club with the author with Flower Darby in a month from today. So on September 15th, she's going to be online for a virtual book club, and it's going to be at 9 a.m. And we will have a link that will follow so that if y'all want to be online with her on September 15th, they'll send that link out. It's a Friday. Okay, so again, thank you for those that put the surveys here. If you have not completed your survey, please do so and bring it to the front before we end today. There's another thing that some departments are having departmental meetings after our meeting today. Please make sure that you get with your department to see where you're going to be meeting. Don't leave early. Stay here. We've got lots of good prizes. If you decide to leave early, you can either pass your ticket to me or I'm just going to take your prize anyway. So either way it goes, I'm going to get that prize. And at the very, very end, you want to be here because our new chancellor, Dr. Michelle Carter, will address us. So please be here, stay to the end, or you're going to miss out on something good. All right, so the next session is going to start now with House Bill 8. Mr. Rudy Sanders.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. So I hear that you've been having some discussions this morning on House Bill 8. I'm going to see if I can add a different perspective than some folks may have already. As you know, the legislation shifts the funding balance, so most of the money the community colleges get from the state is from student outcomes. The colleges will compete for funding against themselves, each college, instead of the other colleges. And pretty sure you've heard that. What I like about House Bill 8 is that I believe that it aligns with Central Texas College faculty's longstanding commitment to student success. The new funding structure benefits students, CTC, and the community. Also, as you probably heard this morning, the passage of this legislation and the allocation of $683 million in the state budget ties the funding for community colleges, again, as we said, to measurable student-focused outcomes. As you heard earlier, the outcomes have to do with the number of students who obtain degrees, certificates, and other credentials of value. Additionally, with the credentials of value, the weight is added for the placement of students who earn the credentials in a high-demand occupation. We look at those a lot here at the institution. We look at those in terms of high-demand occupations, particularly in the Carl Perkins area, which is another area I will see. Students who transfer, another credential is students who transfer to four-year college and students who complete a sequence of at least 15 credit hours of equivalent dual credit courses that apply towards academic or workforce program requirements. As mentioned, the important factor of this is that the additional funds will be allocated as applicable for students who either transfer or complete a credential of value and are academically disadvantaged, economically disadvantaged, and or an adult which is 25 years or older. The outcomes and the weights for a lot of these things that we're looking at will be set by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board during the rulemaking process, which has been happening now, and will make a decision. The coordinating board will make this decision on at their board meeting on August the 22nd. Many of us have been involved in some of those meetings already, providing information. Actually, through the spring semester and through the summer during the legislative process, there have been surveys that have been going out to the institutions along with Central Texas College. And many of you all probably received some of these surveys or information, and provided information in terms of what's going to be a credential, what's going to be a credential of value, what are steps taken to move on to these things that we need to do. The outcomes, as I said, these outcomes and the weights are going to be set by rule by the coordinating board. However, they will come with information that comes from the institution. We'll probably start off slow with some of this and find out which credentials are going to be credentials of value. And again, they're going to be somewhat different, I would venture to say, for many of the institutions, depending on the workforce areas, their regions, and what we're doing. What does this mean for faculty? A little more than what you're doing right now, because it will include a commitment to gathering data, to monitoring students closer, to providing this information to the institution. Therefore, we provide it up the line to the coordinating board. I'm sure many of you are doing that already. However, these are going to be funding dollars for the institution. So therefore, we're going to have to look at it a little closer and gather this information and be able to report this. The model, as you can see, is student-centered. Many of you folks have been looking at, studied, or did student-centered throughout the year. I know I did. It's been probably 30, 40 years for me. We talked about student-centeredness. And I used to laugh at the time because, okay, what do we do? Okay, so you base your decision based on the student. You know, you're buying pencils, you're buying paper, you're buying what for the institution. And mine was, as administrator and a dean, a vice president and a dean of the past, was, folks, tie that into how that's going to benefit the student. Not how that's going to benefit the department, member, but the student as a whole and how that's going to produce something moving on, so the student goes to the next step. Those are things that we need to look at again closely. Many of us get real busy, and I know you do a fine job at just delivering your information to the student. But what this funding bill is going to require us to do, because it's here to stay, and is to make sure that we report accordingly, so we can be able to get more funds to continue to do what we do best. In other words, faculty is going to identify what their learners should be able to do as a direct result of teaching and learning activities. And that means, well, you know how to do your job. You just break down your curriculum a little closer in terms of what's the next step for this individual, whether it's, moving to a four-year institution, whether it's receiving a credential, or moving on to another step in our process. Anybody have any questions in terms of what you heard today and this morning, in terms of what House Bill 8 is going to entail? Again, as I mentioned, a lot of the decisions are still being made, and but it goes into parts of it go into implementation in September, and then fully some of the funding goes into place in January of 24. But along the line, there's various emergency rulemaking and changes in terms of what credentialing is going to be. Yes.
When do we anticipate knowing what that, the dollar amount for these different steps, levels, I can't think of the keyword, but when do we anticipate knowing how we'll receive these, or the amount of any awards we get?
We'll receive, it's called a base performance. We'll find that out. We'll receive that already beginning in the fall. That will also be added to what we're collecting, we as an institution and we as in the state, collecting in the spring of 24. And of course, how that's going to actually mesh into what performances there are, then the dollars will be tied into that. So that will be changing as the process grows. And our jobs, again, will be to, if someone at the institution says, your leadership at the institution says, we have a survey coming about, and we have to answer this information. And it behooves us to answer that as quickly and as factually as possible, to be able to have the groups externally, such as the coordinating board, Texas Association of Community College, and others that are involved along with the institution, to be able to set these performance criteria. Yes.
Will we still have the success points funding?
No,
That's
the
going away?
funding is, the former funding of Success Point, Core, all is gone. We'll be measured on these outcomes based.
And I just wanted to clarify something. We learned today that it's credentials and certificates and certifications, licensures that will help us get funding. But it's specific ones, correct? It's like they have to be approved by THCB. It's not just any ones that we find.
Correct.
So it's better for us just to kind of hold off until we get that list. Because if I tell my people to go, find a license that we can smack with one of our courses, if it's not a license that they approved of, then we get no funding. Is that correct?
I would disagree with that. No, that's not correct. Yeah, we have been looking, like I said, we have been providing information to the coordinating board since the spring, through surveys that have come about. Are we waiting for the rules and information on how to operate? Yes, we are in August. Do we know what the law is? Yes, we do. Do we know that all the credentialing is in place? No, we don't. But what we can do and what we always do and should be doing is making sure that we are teaching and preparing individuals to go into a workforce that benefits them, thus that's going to benefit the institution. And to find out, and we've been finding these things out throughout the years here, is what's our regional workforce, what's our local workforce, what are their needs? Tie that in and tie in what we're doing to those kind of things. And thus look at your curriculum and tie it in how you're preparing, whether it's academic or workforce, how you're preparing the individual to move on to the next level that's going to benefit them in that situation. Hopefully that answers some of your questions. I kind of hear what you're saying and kind of could agree, but then again, if we sit and wait for someone to tell us to do something, well, we already know there's something in place that we are going to be adding to. I don't think that's never worked for me. Who's next?
How does that work with the budgeting? If you don't know what you're being funded for after the fact?
Like I said, we begin with a base budget, with the House Bill 8, and that's going to be sent to the administration, and we go from there. So we're going to get the same amount of dollars to begin with that we received the last biennium, the last 2 years, last year. One more question.
With the credentialing that's going to be set here at the end of August, is that permanent? Will the board be reviewing that at some set time period, 5 years, year, anything like that?
It'll be looked at throughout the year initially to be able to set those. And again, nothing will be set in stone. Everything will change according to whatever the institutional region is.
Thank you.
I have, can I ask one more question? Can I please? You don't like it. Do you see this transitioning into performance-based pay for instructors?
I've not heard anything from that perspective. Perhaps there's some institutions that, such as our institution down the road, TSTC, maybe looking at, but I don't, not heard it from a community college point of view yet. Because they were created different than we were. Thank you.
Good afternoon, can everybody hear me? I am here to inform you that, can everybody hear me now? Now? Okay, I am here to inform you and let you know that our retention alerts are back. First of all, I want to thank Professor Burrow for helping us with our last early alerts system. But the dean wanted me to let you know that we listen to you all, and we have purchased a new system that is solely for retention alerts. And I know some of y'all have y'all received retention alert reminder emails? Yes. Yes? No? Yes? What do y'all think? Much better? Okay, that was the goal. I am going to send you reminder emails every 3 to 4 weeks throughout the course. That does not necessarily mean that you need to submit a retention alert. It's just a reminder that if you have not submitted one, submit one. The new system, it also includes recommendations or referrals. If you feel that it's necessary to recommend a student to a department or a service, you have the option to do that. We are working on creating a report to send to the different departments that you create, that you refer the students to. That way they're aware that you are referring the students to their departments. Any questions? I actually wanted to show you how to access the retention alerts from the faculty and staff page. It is under logins. It is under track cloud. Every email reminder that I send you, every email that you get from me, it will come from track cloud. So please don't delete those and do not think that those are spam. Okay? So you will click on track cloud. It will bring you to this list. For faculty, you will use single sign-on information, meaning your Outlook or CCD computer credentials. And then after you enter your credentials, you will select proceed to SSO. This will log you in. As you know, the students are also using TrackCloud to schedule their tutoring appointments. So please note the difference. There are instructions for students and the faculty are to use single sign-on information. Any questions on that? No? Okay, let me see. I wanted to show you the dashboard and how it looks like. But it's really easy. As some of you have already done early alerts, because all retention alerts, because I've seen it come through, you all know the instructions are on the dashboard. And that's all you have to do is follow the instructions on the dashboard and you will be able to submit a retention alert. Retention alert notifications go out to the faculty, myself, and the student. We send out follow-up text messages to students every week after they receive their retention alert. Any questions? That's it. If you have questions or need a walkthrough, call me or email me or reply to the reminder email and I will gladly walk you through the process. Questions? Everybody's good?
Okay.
You're on time. Good afternoon. Come on, let's all wake up. Good afternoon. I get to share the good news with continuing education and all our great journeys that we've created. I am Dr. Carolyn Grego, and I'm the Associate Dean of Continuing Education, Adult Education, and the Service Area. One full breath. And we're excited because we are on a new journey, adding exciting classes and exciting programs to continuing education. Some of the things that we're offering is we have all our nursing programs, CMA, EKG, PCN, PNC, PCN, no, CN. Sarah, we forget all the acronyms. It's like Certified Nursing Certification. Yeah, practice. We have Pharmacy Technician and Sterile Compounding program, where it's combined with Pharmacy Technician. So you get 2 certificates with Pharmacy Technician and Certified Compounding. Those are some of our programs that we offer for certification purposes. We are now in this wonderful journey creating 2 mobile plumbing and electric classrooms that we will be offering credentials in those 2 areas. We will be using those trailers to go to all our different service areas and providing plumbing and electric, and they will receive an OSHA 10 card. And we also get a new truck with these trailers. Yes, an F. Okay, Mr. Kushner, what is it? Because I'm not familiar with my Ford trucks.
F-250 dollar stroke diesel.
Yes, there. So we're excited to have purchased that. And so we're excited to be providing more plumbing and electric courses. Now, one of the great things we do is personal enrichment. And we always say we have a class for that. Well, for personal enrichment, if you can think it, we will build it. So if you have a hobby, candle making, barbecue sauce, grilling fundamentals, anything,
We can figure out a course for it, and we can build it, and you can teach it. And we're always excited to get new creative courses into our programs. We are trying to work out wellness for all employees, that they can take certain classes such as meditation, yoga, Zumba at different times during the day. And so we're trying to create these classes to accommodate you so that you can take some classes and take a break and maybe do some meditation before you go into your next class. We're still offering college for kids courses throughout the year, coding. We have Lego robotics. We have some chess and some other classes. Our catalog, our fall catalog, will be online next week. So you can go online and look at all the different classes we are offering for the fall. We do offer CDL license. And for adult education, we offer GED programs, citizenship programs, adult education pathways, and these are all free. Let me stress, free. Students do not have to pay for any of this. If they get their GED, they can be enrolled into a pathway, either quick credit side or continuing ed side. And they will get their courses paid for, free. And I do stress free. The only thing that we want is a warm body that's ready to learn and to get their GED program. I had one student that got his GED, and now he's off into the military. And I was so excited because he came in and he cut off his hair. And he's like, remember me? Because he had his little dreads on. He goes, hey, you cut off your hair? He's like, yeah, I joined the military. I was like, oh my God. He goes, I got my GED and I passed my test and now I'm going. I'm like, okay. So if you know anybody that wants to get their GED and then pursue a higher education, please send them to us. We'll take any warm bodies and try to get them on a journey, an educational journey. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is ESL free?
Yes. I forgot to, yes, ESL are free. Everything that's in our adult education, ESL, GED are free.
Information is available at your department?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Anything else? This is my exciting time. I know I talk so loud because this is where I'm really wrapped up. It's my ADHD that kicks in like about 12 o'clock. It's funny though. So if you have any more questions, bring them on, because I can answer almost anything. No? Well, you guys have a wonderful pre-service and enjoy everything. And please come to continuing ed if you want to do some meditation.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Ron Porter. I'm one of the disability coordinators with Disability Support Services. There are 3 staff over in our department, Dr. Christy Shank and Wilma Brown Smith. You might be getting some emails from us that have an accommodation form with the approved accommodations that a particular student has for that semester. Those forms are only good for that semester, for that class, and they go into effect the day that you receive that accommodation form from us. So if you get an accommodation form in the middle of the semester, it's probably because the student didn't apply for those accommodations until later in the semester, which they can do. They can apply for accommodations at any time during the semester, and we will then send out the accommodation form for them. But it is not retroactive to the beginning of the semester. It goes only to that date when you receive the accommodation form. If you have any questions, then you're welcome to give us a call. We can always help you out there. Okay, yes. Just a couple of things about the law. We abide by the ADA.
And then college level courses, the second point, we do not follow or utilize high school IEPs. And also we don't have ARDs. You will notice on the accommodation form that it only has accommodations on it that the student is approved for, or there's a check by the ones that they're approved for. We don't have on there anywhere about the student's diagnosis or why they're receiving accommodations. That's all very confidential information. It's covered by FERPA and other laws. And so we will not discuss that with you. We have to keep that information confidential. If the student wants to discuss that with you, they're certainly free to do that. We tell them there's no expectation for them to share that information with you. The only thing we want them to discuss with you are those accommodations that are approved on the form to make sure that y'all are on the same page, particularly about where you want them to take their extended test time. If you want them to take that in your class, if the extended time, it can be monitored or proctored by someone else, or if you want them to use the Disability Support Service Test Center. So that's the only thing that we ask them to discuss with you. All right. The student must self-identify to DSS. You'll be probably making an announcement to your students early on in the class, first or second lecture about disability support service, or you might mention us. And from that point forward, it's important that we're careful not to ask the student if they need disability support services. They have to self-identify to us. Certainly you can refer them to us, and then we will talk to them. But don't necessarily approach that student or single them out to see if they need help with disability support services. All right, so just a little bit about the documentation that we require. Must be within the last 5 years, must have a diagnosis, how that diagnosis affects their academic performance, and a list of the recommended accommodations that provider, that licensed provider, puts on their evaluation. So they're evaluated not by us, but by someone outside the school and in the community. They have to pay for the evaluation or any updates to the evaluation. Okay. I'm sorry. Some of the or examples of the accommodations, extended test time. We have a couple of options there, either 1.5 times or double time. A separate test area, again, that's one of those really important things to discuss with your student, where you want them to take that extended test time. Being allowed to use a tape recorder or their computer or laptop for note-taking or to assist in note-taking. We may have a note-taker that, if they're available, go with the student into the classroom and take notes for the student. We might also ask if you have someone in the classroom that might volunteer to share their notes with the student confidentially. They may also need a test reader or a test scribe, and we can work with them on that. We also have students that need sign language interpreters and also Braille. This next point is really important because a lot of students, this is different for them because in high school, once they got accommodations, that was it. They had those until the end of the high school at graduation, basically. Every semester, they have to fill out what's called an accommodation request e-form. It takes about 4 minutes. And they list on there the classes that they want accommodations for, that they're registered for that semester. And that form then, when they submit it, also gives me permission or us permission to send out that accommodation form to you. So if they don't do that and they're wondering why they don't have accommodations, they had them last semester, they show you the form from last semester, but they don't have it this semester, it's probably because they didn't fill out that form and submit it to us. Of course, when we get that form, we turn it right around and then send you an accommodation form. If you happen to lose the accommodation form or you get a phone call from a student and they say, just wanted to go over the accommodation form with you, and you say, I don't see it. It may have gotten lost in email. I can send you another one, or the student can just turn around, go to their email, forward the accommodation form that I sent them. They can forward that to you, and that's just as valid. You can certainly call us and verify if you like, but that's up to you. Okay. We pretty much covered that. The next one. In providing an academic accommodation, post-secondary schools are not required to lower or substantially modify essential requirements. None of the accommodations change the content of the material that you have in your syllabus. Post-secondary schools are not required to make adjustments that would fundamentally alter the nature of a service, program, or activity that would result in undue financial or administrative burden to the school. We're also not required to provide transportation, personal attendance, wheelchairs, individually prescribed devices, readers for personal use or study, other devices of personal nature, tutoring, typing. We do have, of course, free tutoring at the academic studio. Any questions about that? We probably get the most questions right there. No? All right. Was that the last? Yep, okay. Very good. Any questions?
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathleen Burke, and with me today I have Ms. Mahalia Scott, who runs the CTC campus. So we're going to be short and sweet. We just want to remind you that we're here. Today, we are here. Just wanted to talk about just two things. And first thing is the change of what is called the blueprint. So when we all started 8 years ago, I see many faces in here that have been with us along this whole journey 8 years ago. If students failed, like say English 1301 and were not successful, they were kicked out of the program. And that has haunted me to it will always haunt me when I see those kids because we didn't know what we didn't know. And then the blueprint has changed. And so what the blueprint is now, guys, is we're supposed to be obviously shooting towards that associate's degree if we can get it. And then to get as many college hours as we can, but there's this new caveat of certificates. So some of you are sitting there going, why is this kid in my class? As you know, we have special ed students. We've had special ed students get their associate's degrees. So we have special ed, we have 504, we have it, and we name it and we got it, okay? But they're real kids. And I think sometimes there's this, demarcation line between us, but they're really all of our kids. And so, yes, we are very, very cognizant and very, very respectful of the CTC systems. 1159 is 1159, you got to go to class. So we're always preaching to the choir on your behalf. But what we're really looking to move towards is how are we meeting the needs of all of our students. So we do have some students, particularly since they've changed the TSIA, that are struggling. But if they are not successful in that TSIA, we still keep working with them in the hopes that they can pass it. But we do have students in our program that are not on the associate's degree track. So say that they're struggling in the English, but they're brilliant in math, we're putting them in math classes. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to expand the program. and the vision of what that is. And we have dabbled our toe. I'm looking at the business group. We're dabbling our toe in that. We've got ROTC. We're now a teacher academy for KISD. But we really want to start thinking more outside the box because we are the largest standalone early college high school in the state of Texas. So the first year we had about 74% of our students achieve their associate's degree, and it has dropped. COVID, I don't ever want to hear virtual learning ever again. I'm sure you all don't either, but our kids did not do well. They did not do well and they struggled. And so we've hovered around in the 50s of 50% of the students getting their associate's degree. But we're feeling with, particularly this group now, we're starting to rise back up because we're coming out of that virtual COVID system. But that's what I want to talk to you about. So if you're kind of like, what's going on here? And we have made changes. Some of the sophomores are taking U.S. history over on the other campus. So that probably changes the type of student that you have. But we're here. Like, we've got one job as a team, and that's to help all our students be successful, period. Whether they get their associate's degree, whether they have some hours, their core complete 12 hours, and now the blueprint is also looking to see what can we do for students who possibly are not TSI complete. So that is in our MOU. And so I'm going to introduce you to Mahalia, and then something else we have up our sleeve.
Good afternoon, everyone. And yes, we just kind of want to put a face to the name and let you know that we are here. We're between the Shoemaker building and the Eagle Hall building. And I really want to say thank you to so many of you because you have been partnering with us and really helping us and communicating with us to help our students be successful. So I really want to start by saying thank you. We're working on internship opportunities for our students. They're already in your classes. I know, like Net Impact, when it comes to debate club, when it comes to drama, our kids are very involved when it comes to some of the clubs here at CTC, and we're hoping to continue to grow those. We're looking for opportunities on Fridays. If you guys have opportunities, if it's something that you guys can do, so they can come out and help out in that internship opportunity for them to be ready for when they transition to post-secondary opportunities. So we're always more than happy to do that. One of the things that we're also talking about when it comes to our blueprint is if they're not TSIA complete, providing opportunities for them to hopefully then do some of the certificates. So it's not like it's a cookie cutter that everybody is doing the same thing, but trying to figure out what it is that our students are needing and how we can service that need, as opposed to making sure that everybody goes through the same program the same way, because that's not the way, even for us, that's not the way it works. So just kind of thank you for all you do. And if you have an idea, if you have an opportunity, just let us know. Our kids are always looking for opportunities, so just let us know, and we will be glad to partner with you.
And it's this huge misnomer that all teenagers are driving. No, they are not. I don't know what's up with this generation. A lot of them don't even want to get their driver's license. So on Fridays, we have 500, almost 600 kids on this campus that could be involved in something if you wanted them to be. Our PE does a great department with their intramurals. Just
That impact us too.
Lots of things. But so once again, we are here. Like Mahalia is here full time. I have to go between the two campuses, obviously. But please just reach out to us. Our POC, we run everything through this deal. But we want to know. We want to know. If they've got all their laptops out and they're farting around in your class, let us know. We can shut that down. Yes, I know they're college students. We know. But if there's anything that we can do on our end, we are here. And as Mahalia said, this is, we've been doing this 8 years. And I can tell you this, and Mahalia will reiterate, the greatest proudful thing they have is their CTC ID. Because that's what makes them different than everybody else. And so you have to remember, they gave up football, they gave up basketball, choir, all of that to come to this campus. So they hold that very close to their hearts, and they do not want to be returned to their home campus. And so we are working very, very hard to make sure that we're meeting everybody where they're at. And if you have any opportunities for our students, they're great kids. If you haven't taught them, you're going to love them. Do we have a few skitters, as I say, not doing what they're supposed to be doing? Yes, we do. And you know that, but 90% of them or 95% of them are trying their best, and they're doing what they can. They are intimidated by you, very, very much so. So we have 3 questions. Have you gone to office hours? Have you spoke to your professor? Have you emailed your professor? And usually the kids, I'll say it all the time, the kids who are not being successful do not do those 3 things. We always throw it right back onto them. And often, sometimes the counselors had to go and kind of push them in there, but they're 16. And so, but we're here and we just want to say thank you. Do you have any questions for us? Yes, ma'am?
You mentioned Fridays, is that mostly a study day for them, or are they involved in other kind of activity?
So on Fridays, it's still an instructional day, it's a school day, but because of CTC, there's no CTC classes. So we're always trying to figure out ways that we can adjust our academic schedule to maximize student time. So before, our students used to have like science labs on Friday, and that will occupy half of their day. The science department is working with us, so we have moved our labs to the weekday so we can have some tutorials on Friday. So Friday is a great day for us to provide interventions for students that are struggling, but it also has opened up a lot of space for us to have opportunities for our students to have those internship opportunities. So we're trying to fill up that gap of not having CTC classes with other activities and opportunities for the students.
For those of us that do teach on days, hello. What information do we need to get to your office to get our new passes for the board?
Just, it's the same as every year. You just email me,
Okay.
and then I'll have Peggy fix it and she'll email it right back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, not a bother. All right, thank you guys so much.
And I'm back again. All right, y'all know it's break time, right? Okay, so for the next people that are up speaking, this fan has a purpose, okay? When you see the fan, it means they're almost done. It also has lights on it, so if you're speaking and the lights come on, it means it's almost done. When it turns red, it's over. It's over. Okay? And then if it takes too long, I may have to come and tap you. So you know what time it is. All right, so let's take a break. Can we come back at 2:30? All right, we'll see y'all back at 2:30.
rain? Do I need to give y'all a fan? Y'all want the fan with the red?
Yes.
It's about that time. Let me show y'all what we're working with here. It's about that time. Bring it in, bring it in. Come on, bring it back. Okay, so our last part for the day, before the fun part, before the prizes. Before the prizes, we're going to have our deans. They're going to address us. We also have Mr. Larry Murphy. He's going to talk to us. Aren't y'all excited about being inside? Being here? Y'all don't sound excited. I mean, you can get away from your house where you got to pay the electric bill because mine was like $6.55. Anybody else in that house? I turned up all the lights when I left. All the lights and dared the kids to don't turn on any lights. I won't be here until about 6. Are you ready? All right. I can never fail, bitch.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Larry Murphy. I'm the Director for Risk Management and the Title IX Coordinator for CTC. So I'm going to give you a quick overview on Title IX real quick and then get out the way. It's hot. All right. Next one. All right, so today's training we're talking about here is you got it. So Title IX covers sexual harassment, sexual assault, dating violence, gender bias, a whole gamut of things. Right now, we're operating under the August of 2020 rules. Come either the 1st of October, mid-October, or the end of October this year, the Department of Education is going to release new guidelines regarding Title IX, which will have a January 1, 2024 implementation date. Once those guidelines are issued, we're told that they're going to be totally different from the current guidelines. We will conduct extensive training to go over that to make sure you guys are aware of what's going on. Next. What does Title IX cover? Pretty much anybody in the United States, the continental United States, Hawaii, Alaska, all our territories, Puerto Rico. If you're in any of those locations, you are covered by Title IX. It's a federal program that makes sure you're not discriminated against and students can have a safe learning environment and employees can have a safe working environment. Next. So we're going to talk about reporting requirements. As instructors, do we have any counselors in here? Any counselors? All right, good. So everybody in this room is mandated to report anything that happens. If you hear it from a student, an employee, whatever the case may be, if it deals with sexual assault, sexual harassment, dating violence, domestic violence, gender bias, whatever the case may be, you have to report it to me. If you fail to do so, the state of Texas has levied certain things that we have to do, which could also end up with termination of employment. So if you're not sure, whatever the case may be, just call me, email me, and I will make sure you get the proper information. Any questions? Next. Again, it says all information, unless it's made to a counselor or chaplain, has to be reported. All right. And then we go through, once we get information, we don't take it just at face value. We go through an investigation process to make sure what we received was creditable and it's not made up. If someone brings an allegation against you, I will tell you to trust the process because we will do our due diligence to make sure that nothing false is brought against anyone, whether it's student, faculty, or staff. If you need to make a report, you can go to this website. The easiest way to get to it is go to the CTC homepage, go all the way to the bottom, click on Title IX. Once you see Title IX, it's going to come to the Title IX homepage. Over to the left, second one from the bottom, you'll see where it says Sexual Misconduct Report. Click on that, and it'll open up a report. Fill it out, and that comes directly to me. Not to police, anyone else, but it comes to me, And then I will reach out to whoever the individual is if they wish to be identified. If you don't identify yourself, I can't look into it by law. And then there are other people, or you can email me directly, information, and take care of that. Next. That's my contact information up there. And then also for Dean Hare, who is over on Fort Hood, she's my assistant when it comes to Title IX. So you can report it to either of us, and we can take care of whatever the situation is. Even if a student comes to you and say, hey, I'm living in this situation, it's bad between me and my husband, or me and my wife, or whatever the case may be, boyfriend, girlfriend, you have to report that also under Title IX. Next. That is it. Any questions? 4 minutes, 17 seconds.
Good afternoon, guys. All right, I'm Veronica Martin, an Associate Dean of Career and Technical Instruction. Yay. So I'm going to be talking about two things, pathways and IOC. The last time you heard about pathways in this setting, it was from Ellen Falkenstein, who was the fearless pathway leader. She has passed the baton on to me, and when she passed the baton, we got right to work. And so we went to the Pathways Initiatives Workforce Conference. They call it a workshop, and they mean that when they say that. We start working from the moment we get in there, and the goal is to come up with ways to increase pathways from students starting in middle school and getting them to come to college and then entering the workforce or transferring to a four-year college university. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about some initiatives that you should be hearing about. When we went to the conference, we talked about improving things on our campus. And so one of the things that we want to do is create meaningful connections with students on general and interdisciplinary studies program. And so that initiative is spearheaded by Eva Hutchins, and the goal is to reduce random acts of dual credit. So we have students taking dual credit classes, and they're just taking random classes to get high school credit, college credit, but we want them to be more focused. And to close income gaps between students on general studies and focused fields of studies. We learned at the Texas Pathways Institute that there's a $23,000 gap between students who complete a general studies degree and students who complete a field of study degree. So we want to help close that income gap. So our goal is to help students choose more focused career paths. So that's one. Another one, we'll have 3 total, is to increase data literacy across campus. That initiative is spearheaded by Dr. Carrie Rose. And so the goal is to collect and review and analyze data and then share what we find with you all. And so Julie Starkey's area just did the SESI, and so that will be one of the first initiatives by that particular department. And then Dr. Audrey Cruz-Seeley and I and Ellen have been looking at program data. So by the time we meet again, we will have some numbers for you based on the students enrolled in your programs. Also, we were interviewed by a Pathways committee, and they talked about some things that we have been doing well, and they talked about some things where we can improve. And so what we're doing well is whatever we're doing to get students enrolled in math classes, it's working. Yes, they said that we have a fair distribution of students enrolling in all math class types. So that's great. We're doing a good job integrating continuing education into academic and CTE programs. So we have students, we've created a pathways from students enrolled in programs in Dr. DeLeon's area to come to our areas, academics and career and technical education. And so we are creating a good pathway for those students to upskill once they have completed a continuing education program. So that's awesome. And the last thing they said we are doing well is strengthening teaching of gateway courses among faculty. So essentially, you guys are doing a tremendous job. Thank you for what you do. That includes me too. And, I already talked about what we get increased on, so those are the 3 initiatives. And that's it for Pathways. For BioSig, some of you have received an email from me saying your students are doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Investigate further. And so, what that means is that on the academic integrity policy, we say that students should not be sharing passwords. They should not be masking their IPs. They should not be using VPNs, and they should not be using a ghostwriter in their online classes. And so BioSig monitors students' participation in classes, and they are identifying students that may be violating these things. And so they appear on a watch list. And so they send me the watch list each week. And if your student appears on the watch list, I email them and I say, hey, whatever you're doing is not right, so stop. And then I will let you guys know that I've sent them that email. If they continue to appear on the watch list, I send you an email and say, hey, you should start an investigation to see if this student is actually cheating or not. And if they are, perhaps you should begin the academic integrity process. And so if you get that email from me, that is what I will be asking you to do. It doesn't mean that the students are guilty. It just means that you should keep an eye on them to make sure that they are not. Any questions about that?
I've only ever had one person try to complain to me about that, but he said he was in the military and had to use it at the end because of his work stuff. I told him to just email.
Yes, and I did hear from a student that said that. I did notate that in his account. I also relayed that information back to our BioSig partners so that they can identify if that is accurate or not. Any other questions? All right, thank you for your time. Go be great. Have a good semester.
Hey folks, I'm Matt Lyles, Associate Dean of Academic Instruction. And I'm here to talk about a couple of things. I don't stand behind the podium very well. Update on academic integrity. I came and spoke in January. I have some of the same slides. I promise I will not spend anywhere near as much time and bore you with things you've heard before. In case you can't tell by the screen, our new policy is live and on air. It is good to go, which means, probably should have held this with me. A light, yeah, thanks. In case we have some new faculty, so just a brief refresher. First offense is just a 0 on the assignment. Second offense is an F in the course, and a referral to the student, or any subsequent offense is an F in the course and a referral to the student disciplinary policy, which moves over into Marcelli's area. Okay, so I'll probably hit that in a slide in a second. We have 2 pieces of this. They are both in our faculty handbook, which is updated and live on the faculty staff website. So these are both in there where you can see them. The policy is the student-facing version. It's in the course catalog. It's also in the student handbook. It is also in your faculty handbook. It's brand new, published yesterday for school year, academic year 23-24. All right. So that's from the student perspective. Defines exactly what we're calling a violation, but defines what we're calling academic integrity and what violating that looks like and what the process is, what the due process is for the appeal process. The protocol is the faculty-facing portion. It is only in the faculty handbook. In case of emergency, break glass, this is what you do. You follow the list. All right, so I already said these things. We'll just keep it moving. I already said those things too. Yeah, so why do we have progressive sanctions? First offense, it gives them an opportunity to recover from it academically. Then you get progressive offenses so that you have, get your attention more as you go. It establishes a behavior pattern, and that's why we move it over to Marcelli's part. All right, so there's some recommendations I shared last time. If you get to the point where you're failing a student in your course, I recommend before you notify the student to submit the grade, because otherwise they can withdraw from the course and avoid the sanction. But you're going to be able to navigate this process as you wish. To review briefly what I said in January at the beginning of this process, this is a lot. It's hard to see. It's in the faculty handbook. I recommend taking your time when we're not in this setting to go check it out. The important piece is at the beginning. You as a faculty member get to decide if you think this is worth reporting and putting into the system. You don't have to do that. You can use it as a teachable moment if you think it's worthy of that. You get to decide. Each one of us has a different viewpoint on how we want to approach academic integrity, and this gives you the freedom as a faculty member to make the choice for you and for your class. Okay, so once you've made that choice, I need to go ahead and put this in the hat here. You're going to fill out an E-tree form. So I need to go back over here for a second. Give me a second. Last time we met, we didn't have the form live and going all the way, but let's fix it. So, it's not logged in as me. Oh, Lord. Anyway, I didn't test it. That was a bad plan on my part. So, short version. Heck with that. Short version. It forms up at the top. Okay. The easiest way to search for it is to type the word integrity. All right. If you can't spell it, type the first couple of 3 or 4 letters. You're getting it. All right? If you type academic, you're likely to see about 50 forms because where we work, right? But start typing integrity, it'll pop right up in there. If you're not the instructor of record, don't start the form. All right, it automatically fills in with who is logged into the computer. Okay, and it will automatically put that information into instructor of record. You fill out the deal there. There's an exciting thing in E-tree that some of us may not be aware of, and I guess this is a little passive aggressive, but it's what I got. All right, at the bottom of an E-tree form, there's an exciting thing that's called attachments, and we should probably use those. Now, for real, sometimes these get appealed all the way up to the 3rd level of appeal, and we have to form an academic misconduct committee. And as much documentation in there as possible makes that an easier and smoother process. So if you would please include any documentation, evidence of what you think has occurred, a notification letter that you've used to students, whatever you've got, we would like to see it there. It makes our process easier. We're trying to document well on our end. If you have any questions or any confusion at any point about the E-tree form, contact me directly. I am happy to help you. We have several people. We'll see it here on a slide in a second. We won't see it on the slide on there, right? We'll see it on a slide here in a second that have used the form and used it successfully. They can tell you the moment you have submitted a form, it goes to your department chair. Just so that your department chair has had eyeballs on it. We don't like surprises. Nobody likes surprises, especially in an admin capacity, whether you're a department chair or whatever your role is. All right, it gives them eyeballs on, they hit approve, and then it comes to me. At this point, I'm going to send it back to you as the faculty member, and I'm always going to email you, hey, this is what I need you to do. I'm sending this to you to await potential appeal level 1. Many of you in the room have received that email from me. It happens, right? A couple of y'all are frequent flyers and have seen that email multiple times, and that's okay. Again, this gives you the freedom to be you, and it's okay, right? So I will send you an email. If you have any questions, just ask. We just want to make it as smooth as possible, but we want to be able to keep record. If we're going to do successive punishment, we need to be able to have good records. So we keep records in our office. It's readily available on a shared drive that's available to department chairs and faculty online managers. And if you're in either one of those roles and you do not know how to get to that, please reach out to me and I will help you do that. Okay? So they can look in there and tell you if a student has had a previous offense or not, to inform decisions and to choose the correct notification letters. Speaking of notification letters, we have samples. All right? We want you to use our sample so that it, A, tells the student exactly what you're telling them you think that they did. B, tells the student what the sanction is for what is reported. And then C, it gives them their right to appeal on the process they need to follow to do that. Okay, so we want it a little bit uniform just so that we make sure we have all the boxes checked. We're not trying to say, you must use this form so we all look the same. We just want to make sure that we have all the proper information getting to them so that the due process is followed for both us and the student. Okay, if you have any questions on that, again, at any point, please reach out to me. We'll make it happen. We do have a 3-level appeal process. I'm just going to go super fast over that. First level of appeal is always the faculty member. I can tell you firsthand, I had a student that I thought was cheating in my class. I had her on video. Looked like she was cheating off to the side like that. She appealed to me afterwards, and she had a medical condition that caused her to have a tic. I had no idea. So you never know what's going on in the student's life, is my point. And you as the faculty member, the first level of appeal. Second level of appeal will be your department chair. If you are the department chair, that could get a little weird. I haven't had that yet, but we'll address that when it comes, I suppose. And thought that through, that's exciting. And the third level of appeal, happens, right? It's a living document. The third level of appeal is we form an academic misconduct committee. So it comes to our office. We form a committee with at least 3 faculty members, at least 1 member of student success and persistence. I try to spread it around. I've formed 2 committees since I've started doing this. I try to get different faculty members each time and spread it through different departments so that each it's kind of like jury duty in my mind, where it's good to be exposed to the process. So you see what's going on. There's a handful of people in the room. I won't put them on the spot, but I think that they can attest that it's a good experience to live through at least once. You know what I mean? Some of them have been very gracious and said, I would love to do this again. I'm trying to spread the love around a little bit, just throw that out there. But I will, I may at some point ask you, and if you're busy, you retain the right to say no. It's okay, all right? So if you're busy and you don't have the time to do that, just tell me. I'm good. I can keep looking. It's not a big deal. I try not to ask department chairs. If you're a department chair, like, why has he never asked me? I try not. You get tapped for so many things. I just try to spread it around a little bit. So that's what we got on that. The third level appeal. We form a committee. We meet as a committee. The committee makes a recommendation. They don't make a decision. They make a recommendation that goes to the dean. At this point, that means it goes to Dr. Bach. Dr. Bach makes the final decision, and the appeal process is over at that point, and the process is done. Whatever's decided there, that's the end of the road. The due process has reached its terminal end. I probably skipped the slide by accident. You have some resources. There's one that I tried to get Erica Burton to get up. It's on the faculty resources page, but it's not linked yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to email your department chairs so they can share it outward. Let me just show you briefly what that is. Gotcha. Academic integrity resources. So there's 3 things here. And that's really small, so you might not be able to see that from where you sit. I'll just read them out loud, okay? We'll have like story time. So the first one says Academic Integrity Syllabus Statement. If you'd like to include something in your syllabus, we have a sample. You can choose to use it or not, but at least having something out there that you can adjust to make it fit your needs, it's there, okay? Again, I'm going to send this out at the end. The second thing says Best Practice to Implement Sanction. Like I mentioned, if you're going to fail a student, it's probably safer to hit the submit grade before you notify them, because students are pretty slick. You know what I mean? They'll figure out ways to avoid punishment. And so if you truly want them to get that level of a punishment, then that's my suggestion. And there's also suggestions in there, like if you're going to put a 0 on assignment in Blackboard, hit the comment section. Notify, put a notification in the comment that flags to the student. Oh, there it is. I got to think, because sometimes, as you well know, students don't check their email. Students don't even check their messages in Blackboard. So it's a struggle to get through to them communication-wise. And so you just got to try all the ways. The third one there says paraphrase examples and non-examples. That is faculty-created examples. So we tapped some faculty that we interact with on a regular basis and asked them for help. And that is what we have there. So again, I will share those things out. Let me switch back over to my little PowerPoint. And keep the party moving, huh? Yep. So we, like I said, we have sample notification letters. We have sample, all kind of stuff like that. Let's just keep it moving. So quick facts, since, well, you can read as well as I can. I don't know why I'm reading that. That's the numbers that we've seen in recent times. I'll just give you a second. Left, okay. Gotcha. Okay, so I'm switching gears. That's enough on academic integrity. I'm supposed to also speak to you about what's called self-paced with milestones. Okay, so we have reformatted. I'm trying not to use those words. Okay, I try to, when I do student-facing stuff, I try to use words like this: introducing self-paced with milestones. So it sounds new. If they haven't seen it before, it's a new thing, and it's what we got. We no longer are doing self-paced courses like we used to do. Okay, we were tasked. Our office was tasked with retooling self-paced courses. It's a tricky thing to do. So what did we do? We chose to survey faculty that taught self-paced courses last fall 22. We surveyed 148 faculty, 78 replied. It was really refreshing to hear faculty say things like, "So we're so thankful that you're requesting our feedback on stuff." So we actually encouraged that continued feedback, even with the new format. This is maybe not necessarily a finished product. This is what we're going to try this year and see how it goes. Okay. So what have we done? As a result of this, we looked at what came back. What was working in self-paced, what was not. The flexibility obviously worked. That's why the modality existed, right? But what was not working? If you don't teach a composition-y kind of a course, you may not have seen some of this stuff. Depends on what your subject is. And everybody's subject looks way different. You know what I mean? But imagine that you're teaching English comp, and it's an 8-week self-paced course, and somebody turns in all the assignments in week 8. In a writing course, you learn by getting feedback from your instructor, processing that, and then trying to utilize that to write the next thing. If you turn it all in at once, you have zero positive impact from your feedback. Is English the only place where that happens? No. It happens in lots of other ones. We have 14 academic departments. I don't even pretend to understand most of them. You know what I mean? So you all know what works in your area. We're trying to do something to make it where it's more meaningful, and also so that students don't wait till the buzzer. So that I'm not supposed to say things like reducing completes and failures because they waited to the buzzer and couldn't get it done. But so what we've done is we've introduced milestones. What is a milestone? Put down the little clicker. So there. What is a milestone? It's a block due date. Who gets to choose the due dates? The departments do. All right. So if you haven't spoken about it as a department, I invite you to do so. You know, I don't know if your department chair will decide that, or if they will meet with you, or whatever works right for your department is good. You know, we don't want two faculty members teaching the same course doing 2 different things. That's less than ideal. You know what I mean? So we want a conversation to happen. Figure out what works for your group and go with that. We're trying to spread out the material and encourage them, scaffold them in a way that encourages them to be more successful in your course. That's the point of this. Is it perfect? No. Is it truly self-paced? It is not. All right? Is there a good name for this? Think about it. It's a trickier one. All right? I haven't come up with it. I was told. She's going to tap me here in a second. I still have a PSA to do for my communications people, so I'll get there. All right? But please discuss it in your departments. Your departments. Figure out what works for you and roll with it. Can a student get an exception to a milestone? Absolutely. Just like in a regular online course, you know, they need to reach out to you, encourage them to do so. Why not just take a OLL? It provides more flexibility with fewer due dates. So it's like OLL with fewer due dates. That's all it is. And that's a hard thing to capture in a short naming convention. Have we messaged it perfectly? We have not. Oh, let me talk about data briefly. I know I'm going to push off the stage here in a second, right? So we collected data from everyone that took an OSL class in fall 22, and we got all kind of demographic data. Now I'm not going to remember it all. Course section, grade, gender, age, race, ethnicity, Pell eligibility, PAT. We want to see how the changes we're making affect different demographics. We're going to collect the same data from this fall. So we have a control group, and then we're going to apply the treatment, so to speak, and then see what kind of effect we had, how it affects different groups, and we'll react accordingly if we need to. But this is our proposal for this year. This is what we've gotten approved by the chancellor to use for faculty for academic year 23-24, and that's what we're going to do. Quickly, I know. This is my last slide. What time is it? 3:01. I'm way over. All right. We messaged it a lot. Okay? Is it perfect? No. You're faculty and you're on the front line, which is why I'm talking to you today, because whatever slipped through the cracks and people didn't read emails or didn't check out the website or didn't do whatever they did, it's going to come to you next, right? Which is not cool, but it's the truth. And I prefer to speak the truth to you. The class formats page, we have a thing there. In Blackboard, this is the thing I wanted to make sure I got. And I don't have my hands. I don't have a straw for my... In your Blackboard course. She's gonna smack you with the fan next, right? So, in your Blackboard courses, syllabus page 2, I have a favor to ask. If you're teaching an OSL course, would you please say something about it right there? I don't have the canned messaging for you. This is a self-paced course with milestones. This means blah. Please feel free to steal from the class formats page. All right, it's got stuff there if you want to use some language. All right, make sure you have an announcement so it's clear to your students, just like you would for anything else you got. This starts Monday, y'all. That's all I have to say. Oh, PSA. I have a PSA I'm supposed to do for the communications department. They've had a recent resignation, I can't speak, of a full-time speech instructor. So if you know of a qualified speech instructor that might be available for the communications department, please have them contact Tammy Phillips or Brett Royster, either one. If you don't know Brett Royster, he's a new chair starting September 1. Yeah, that's what I got. I never said thank you all for all you do for our students. We're so grateful, and we hope you have a fantastic school year.
He told me he was gonna take forever. The time you've been waiting for. Do y'all have your tickets? Yeah. Oh, y'all need to stretch? We need to take a 2-minute? I think we need to take two. Give me a half a minute. Give me like just a few seconds. If y'all want to leave, you can, because I'm gonna win. If y'all leave, I'm taking all these. Well, I need somebody else to pick, because when I win, y'all wait 1 minute, wait, I gotta get my ticket. Hold on, I gotta get my ticket. Where's your ticket? My ticket's in it. Who stole my ticket? Oh, wait. I love prizes. Oh, I love prizes. It's like bingo. I'm playing too. I got my, I'm putting my number right here. Right there. Y'all see it? Y'all ready? Okay. Yeah, I need somebody else to pick. Oh, am I supposed to pick? Oh, so let's see. Y'all ready? Oh, wait, I got two. Gotta go back in. Okay, let's see. I want the whole number, the half number, the last number. 0. Let me look at my number. 0, 6, 2. Do we have a winner?
Yes.
Well, bingo! You gotta bring your number, because I don't trust anybody, you know, because I want to win. You bring the wrong number, I win. That's right. If you don't bring the right one, I win. So excited. Let me see. Oh, girl, 0. I guess it. She won, y'all. A whiteboard. Yay! All right, you ready? Oh, she should have picked. Wait, go chase her down. Come on. Eric's participation. Don't be looking. Let me see what my number is again. Let me check. Is that my number? Let me see. Oh, man. No, we got to go back. I think this was rigged. 0. I know, right? 6, 4. I think that was rigged. Who has 064? Yay! Don't clap yet. We gotta prove it. Clapping yet. It ain't time to clap. Because you know, if she gets the wrong number, it's mine. Let me see. 0. Yeah, she won. I don't know. You get this brown box. I can't even say that word. Brown box. Yay. Woo! I don't know what it is. Open it so we can see it. Whatever it is, I like it. It's a brown box. It's a Cobus. Arcobus. What is that? Anybody know? Arcobus. Okay, you're going to have to open that. That'll be something inside this brown box.
It starts from
Something in life. Something about life. I don't know. Organization. Okay, you have to sit close because we need to see what that is. We might have to do that trade like the white elephant did. Trade that. Let's see. Okay. All right, this one's better. Wait, let me see. That's my number. Oh, that ain't my number either. 2, 1, 0. Oh. Going once. 2, 1, 0. Oh, man. I keep winning. Don't clap yet. We got to prove it. Let me see. What you got? I'm saving that for me. Rocket, book, fusion. Yay! Woo! We got 2 more of those. Mix it around. Is that mine? Let me see. Wait, my number again. I keep forgetting. Man, it was almost my number. 1, 5, 7. Oh, that's my number. Wait. Oh no, that's the wrong number. 1, 5, 6. What? She came in like 2 seconds after me. I think she got my number. You don't give me my number. I don't know. We gotta prove it first.
see, wait, 1, 5, 7, okay. Oh, I guess she. All right, here you go. Congratulations. Y'all know my number is 1, 5, 7. I think she got it.
I don't know.
Let's see.
Uh-oh, that's me again.
1, 3, 0.
Right here.
You cheated. How you get 2 numbers?
That's the lab test.
But how
You
did she?
gotta give it up.
She gonna give it to me because she like me. Can you? That last. How many? Whose number was that? You stole somebody. What she get to? 2, 9, 0. 2, 9, 0. People are women. We got 2 more. I still got a chance. Y'all was supposed to clap yet. Don't clap yet. We got to prove it. I think Karen. Karen was the one that won 2 gifts. We're going to give her on the way out. Today's your birthday. Oh, happy birthday. We're going to give her a good gift. Happy birthday. Oh, you can't leave yet. You got to put my number. Still waiting on my number to come out. I think she does. 2, 2, 0. Yeah, I think the last gift I'm gonna win. Let me see. Okay, y'all can clap now. Keep it going. One more, it's mine. Let's take all these out and get mine. Oh no, put that back. Put that name on there. 1, 3, and they name on the back. 4.
What's the name? Say it.
Angela Reese. I feel like she cheated. I feel like there was a cheat going on here. Her name, they felt and saw her name or something.
They told me to write it.
That's not. They didn't tell me to write my name on it. That's so unfair. You really don't want this, do you? You really don't want this because it's not gonna fit. It's some beats. Huh? We gave it to the birthday girl.
Oh, the birthday girl.
Oh yeah. Well, it had your name on it. You cheated. Can you give me one? No, can you give me the one with the case?
I'll charge it. We can try it.
We're not even in the same building. So unfair. Well, did y'all have some gifts in y'all pocketbooks or purses? We still waiting on Dr. Carter. I mean, y'all can't leave yet.
No, but we have another birthday girl.
We got, oh, y'all, we got another birthday girl? Well, happy birthday. How about we sing? Let's sing. I mean,
You want my first name?
bring your ID back, because I don't believe you don't sing. Y'all ready to sing? I mean, let's sing. I mean, we still got time. We supposed to be here until what time? 3:30. Okay, we got time to sing. We got 2 birthdays. Where the other birthday girl? All right, what's your name? Regina and Audrey. Look, she really bringing her ID. She bringing her ID. She said it. That's probably not her birthday. She put her finger over the picture, so I wasn't really sure if that was her or not, but it said 8:15. Can somebody sing? Because I can't. Who can sing? Dr. Thomas, come on.
in the choir, and I sing right beside the people, and they go. So they ask me if I sing alto, tenor, but I sing beside, right beside you.
Okay, so it's Audrey and Regina, right? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Regina and Audrey. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. I was trying, what else y'all want me to go?
I think that now we have a faculty chorus that Dr. Thomas leads every year.
I believe so. I think we can do it. I'm gonna lead a couple of songs for you. Oh, yeah. Everybody went like this.
If you actually want to join the choir, sing with us, I don't have a problem with that. We meet Monday, Wednesday at noon.
All right. Tell them what building you're in. 218. Monday and Wednesdays. Monday, Wednesday noon. Join the choir. Are we still waiting? All right. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, Tracy. Isn't she so lively? Right? I'm going to make a statement that somebody in this room may not want to hear, but we probably could have given Dean Lyles a couple more minutes. It's too late now. It's too late now. It's too late now. It's too late now. So while we wait, Dr. Carter did ask that we remain flexible because she's had meetings throughout the day. And the second part of the day included 3 meetings, one of which deals with funding for House Bill 8. And so I expect that she will be here soon. But here's what we don't want to do, not be here when the new chancellor shows up and then ask her for something next month. Okay, so we'll behave now and we'll wait. But we'll take this opportunity to hear from you. I know you didn't get a chance to say too much today, but you probably had lots of things you were thinking about, lots of things you probably wanted to share. And so let's just take a few minutes to share, and we'll get the red fan whenever Dr. Carter enters the room, and then we'll just wrap it up. So any first shares? Questions, comments, complaints? Nobody's here but us.
I think I'm feeling the 1 week. Oh,
I'm feeling the whole 1 week push up right now. I don't know if that's something later on that we might think of, but the fact that classes ended when they ended Sunday. I have no grades done. I'm not fully prepped for Monday. And so I'm feeling that whole, I only have 1 week in between. So just wanted to see if anybody else is in the same boat and then something else. It's like most of this, it was great. Honestly, it was for me one of the best, speakers. It was really great. But sometimes I kept just thinking like, oh my gosh, I need to go make my similar. I need to go prep or I need to do that. So I'm just feeling that week.
Show of hands. Anybody else feel that way? So you are not alone. We'll all hear from the dean at the same time. Anybody else? Comments? Yes, ma'am. Right at the top.
Do we have any new faculty here?
Oh, good question. So new faculty. Do we have new faculty? Perhaps this is your first semester. Can we do introductions? Will you do introductions? We have one right here, and then we have another over here. Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Yeah. Okay, so we're starting to my right.
Maria Hillard, nursing.
Awesome, well done. So where did you come from? Were you at another institution? Did you come out of industry? Okay, so you came out of industry. Oh, well, awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you. We're happy to have you.
Donna Kennedy, music. I've been here for 4 years as the collaborative pianist. In the past 3 years, I've been involved in doing that. I've been doing my master's and so on. Yeah, I'm just gonna be a teacher too.
Awesome. Welcome to the other side. She was saying there's somebody in the back. Anybody else new? Any second semester instructors with us? No?
Did he introduce in the back with the maroon shirt? He is new.
Where?
He sat down.
Oh.
There he is.
He kind of looks like Ray from a distance. Turn around and look at him, doesn't he? He had his ball cap down a little.
Shane Harrington, computer science.
Awesome. So Shane, did you come from industry or another institution?
Well, I came from MCC, but I'm also in industry.
Okay, awesome. Well, welcome. Anybody else?
Melissa, we do have a new science associate in the science department, Melanie Jones, at the back.
Where are you? Well, I'm going to introduce yourself.
Hi, it's me. Melanie Jones. I have a background in high school biology, so I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Anybody else? So let's go in this direction. Is somebody willing to share what happened perhaps in the spring, this summer, that made doing what you do, that made you want to come back and do it again, right? Was there something really great that happened that said to you, you know what, I can do this again, I can do it again? Nobody? Oh, great, Erica, thank you. Lisa?
I'll do this real quick. It was actually in the fall. I went back to the elementary school for a little bit to help my mother out. And unfortunately, she passed. But I was doing Meet the Teacher. Meet the Teacher. I was excited. It's been about 15 years since I went back to elementary. So I went in there and I recognized the mother. I had her as a student at second grade, when I was teaching her in second grade, also at CTC. And then she's bringing me her first grader. So I said, wow. I didn't realize I've been doing this long. Yeah, that was a very humbling, and it was an honor. It was pretty cool.
That's cool.
So in the spring, I had a student in 0300, which is our lowest developmental course. And we literally start out with like multiplication, like just basic stuff. We have 5 exams and then the final. First one should be, I think, like a 20, second one, 30, third one, 40. But I just kept pouring into her and was like, you're getting better, right? On the 4th one, she failed again. She almost passed. But I thought to myself, man, like even if she does pass the next one, like the final's gonna go over everything. She was going into tutoring every day and I just kept pouring into her. And when she would cry after a test, I'd be like, but you did better, you know? Well, she ended up making, I think, like a 90 on the last test. And then on the final, she either made an A or a B. And she cried. She was like, thank you, Jesus. I was like, thank you, Jesus. But she shared with me that she was a Christian. So I'd be like, well, if you're saying you believe this, and so God says you got the mind of Christ, like I was just able to pour into her differently. So she took Ellen's class, statistics, this summer, and she made an A in the class, and she encouraged all the other students And she said she really, I'm getting emotional. But she said she mentored the other students and was able to like really cheer them on. And so it just goes to show, like, when we don't give up on people, we speak life to them. And I've had situations where they don't pass, but we still teach them how to not give up. And so when she told me she made an A, I was just like blown away by that, because this is a student where literally like 20, 30, you're like, some people would say, oh, college is just not for you. And I just feel like we kick that statement in the teeth when we show like, hey, you put your mind to it and you speak to life to people, and we see the rewards of it. So, yes. What? Yeah, she told her, oh, I see that I'm not stupid. And something she would tell me, she'd say, I don't know what's wrong with my mind. And I'm like, girl, you're not allowed to say that anymore. Nothing's wrong with your mind. And so it's just so cool to see the fruit so quickly. So.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. I had a friend many years ago who had gone through developmental math classes here at CTC. And it's probably no understatement to say that she took each one twice. And she started from, developmental 1 up. And she became a math professor. Oh, yes, she did, at a university. And so, yeah, like when you speak into people's lives, speak positive things, and you encourage them not to give up, they can do some mind-blowing things, right? And it's a kiss to us. It's a kiss to us that the work we do is not in vain. So that's really beautiful. But it does bring me to this next question. Is there anybody, and I know it's a question that makes us, it'll cause us to be vulnerable if we choose to be, but is there anybody who is struggling? Are you struggling with, teaching, just teaching period? It's just a lot. Perhaps with, some groups of students, perhaps with meeting all the demands that come along with teaching, perhaps just about anything that might come with your position. Anybody struggling you want to share?
Why, thank you. I can talk out loud. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not struggling with the teaching. It's the other duties, as you'll know. There's paperwork about all kinds of things, data gathering all the time. And it's tough sometimes, especially when I got like 3 little kids at the house, So, I love the teaching. All right, there you go.
Thank you so much, Chad. Struggle is a real thing. And so I brought that up to say, even as we encourage our students, how disingenuous would it be of us to say they can do it, and we encourage them, but then we don't encourage each other. And so I want to encourage you all that you're not alone in the struggle, but you're also not alone in those joyous moments. And if you ever need me, you can call me. My number is, I'm kidding. As you can see, we have our esteemed Chancellor, Dr. Michelle Carter, with us. I am so excited. I'm excited about the future because with new people, come new ideas. I hope I got that out. And so I'm excited about what she has for us today and what our future will hold in her very capable hands.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. When this agenda was originally set up, I'll be very frank with you because I don't know any other way to be. I didn't want to share that slide. I wanted you all to myself. So here we are. It's been a long day for you. It's been a long day for me. And I want you to know I swam through a waterway of sharks to get to you today. That's the kind of day I've had. But knowing that I would be here with you today kept me going. And I don't say that with false flattery. It is absolutely true. I believe Dr. Renee Henry said it best a couple of years ago when she spoke on behalf of the faculty at a commencement, and she said, and I paraphrase, I hope I get it right and do her justice. And she said, you are the best faculty on this side of heaven. And I am so honored to be your chancellor and to serve you. I don't really have any notes. I'm just gonna walk around a little bit, but I won't be before you long because I know you have things to do. But I did want to greet you and just share with you. I am so looking forward to learning with you and about your departments. I have a servant transformational leadership style. And the best way I can support you is to learn what you do. If you coach me, if you teach me, you won't have a bigger cheerleader, a louder rah-rah corner than me. If you educate me on what you do, if you let me come visit your classrooms, if you let me come to your departments and meet your staff and your faculty, I promise you it will pay dividends because I will be your greatest advocate. I promise you that. And if I think somebody's on my heels, I'll kick it up a notch. So let me share with you a little bit of what I've done thus far since August 1. Well, let me back up. One of the things that I'm doing, in all of this, I always tell people, unless I have notes, there's no particular order. So don't think one thing is more important than the other. One of the things that I've done is to increase the level of engagement with our faculty, particularly some of our department chairs. When we're making decisions that impact you, and I don't see one of you around the table or two of you around the table, that's a problem. As a matter of fact, two of you, I understand, accepted a request, an assignment today, and for that I am forever grateful. So, for the first time, and I don't know how long, when it comes to your contracts and policy 400, you have representation, okay? What I've done since being in this post is I've restructured the leadership. I am a woman of faith. I believe in someone greater, far greater than I will ever be, without whom I am nothing. And my scriptures tell me that in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So I went from having an executive group of 3 people, and by the way, I had faculty representation when I replaced myself as the Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration. And I say Vice Chancellor because we no longer have Deputy Chancellors, we have Vice Chancellors. And so we have faculty representation. That is a critical role of the CFO. And so Mr. John Chella willingly participated, and he was great. But what I also determined was that it's got to be a group larger than just the 4 of us. And so I established what I call the Chancellor's Cabinet. So I have 12 other people with me so that I can get other perspectives in understanding what's going on here, what's going on locally, at the state level, at the national level, when things come down, how does it impact us? Just more voices at the table. And then we're going to create more opportunities. Several years ago, decades ago, because I've been here 32 years, last Wednesday, I think it was August 9th, a week ago, 6 days ago, I've been here 32 years. And there was something that we previously had, and it was called the Operations Council. And so we had several members of the administration and some from the faculty talk about issues. And so I just want you to get ready. You may have to raise your hand to participate in some of those things. We need to hear your voice. We need to hear your ideas, especially those things that impact you. As a business major and the chief business officer for the college until recently, it's all about the product. And you're responsible for that product. You're responsible for the quality of education that we put out. And I want to make sure that we support you in that. So those are just some of my thoughts. I envision CTC, it's not what I'm hoping we will be. I see CTC as the premier institution of higher education in the Central Texas area. We are Central Texas College. We are an institution of innovation. We always have been. I'll be able to share pictures with you sometime where, you know, we put up a dish for KNCT and some other things before anybody else was doing it. I can show you pictures of when we opened our doors and they expected 100, and literally there were lines down the walkway to get into our school. That's who we are. Our DNA is innovation. And all of you, I know it, all of you have great ideas, ways that you want to improve your programs. Not that you're not already doing great things. You're already doing great things. I want to kick it up a notch. I'm going to call this the year of the turnaround. This is the year of the turnaround. We know we need change. We know we need change. We know it's not business as usual. But what I do know is that we cannot do it without you. We cannot do it without you. When I work in contracting, one of the things that I quickly learned is that no matter what program we offered outside of this campus, it had to be offered back here. And it had to be cleared by the department chairs. So whether it was Mr. Chella or Dr. Gonzalez or Dr. Frew or Dr. Cook saying, yes, you can do this in Europe, or no, you cannot do this in Europe. No, that course cannot be substituted. This is headquarters. This is headquarters, and I esteem you highly for what you do, and I thank you for what you do. So we are the premier institution of higher education here in Central Texas. I'm looking to establish a culture of care and innovation because, as President Roosevelt said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I'm looking to establish a culture of care and innovation. House Bill 8, we've got to tackle it together. I won't even talk about it. I won't even talk about it. We just got off a call. I believe Mr. Ted Gonzalez, who's up there, he was on the call as well. And I thought I had a little bit of an understanding of that fast dual credit program, and now I'm ready to pull my hair out. But, you know, this too shall pass, and we will get through it together. And so I just wanted to spend that little bit of time with you, a few minutes with you. No particular script, just to share some words from the heart. I'll be better prepared in January, I promise. But for now, just know we are in it together. I look forward to serving you. I look forward to learning more about your departments. How many of you are going to invite me to your class? Woo! Get a picture. Get a picture. Raise hands. Because I'm coming. I'm coming. If you don't believe me, is Clinton Osborne in here? He is working, John? Okay. Yeah, I showed up for one of those driving courses. Yeah. I might not do that again, but I will show up. And so my goal is to be very present. I believe engagement is key. As much as possible, I will give you the why. There will be days where you say, that's my chancellor. And there will be days you scratch your head. Right? But just, I'm looking to earn your trust and your respect. It's not something that you have to give me. You respect the position. You don't have to respect me. But I'm looking to earn that from you. So thank you again for your time. And I'm probably going to get in my car and say, I should have said this, I should have said that. And so, you know, I understand you all have an email distribution list. So if you get a couple, you may get a couple of quotes from me or something like that. I love quotes. I love quotes. So, but does anybody have a question for me before I go?
You're going to visit physics class first,
I'm what certain physics class you say?
You go visit first.
You first.
If I don't make it to the rest of you, it's his fault.
No, yes, yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Okay, you've been most kind. Thank you very much.
Y'all know what I'm here for? Surveys! Can y'all please, please, please complete your surveys, bring them up here. If you have no other questions or comments or concerns, have a great fall semester.